We are a river city, a bold city, the First Coast, a place to create and to belong. Here, the sun shines a little brighter, and so do the people. We share a love for our region, a pride for JAX, and a passion for the beautiful game, dedicated to giving everyone a sporting chance. Together, we will elevate soccer and sport in our community by lifting every voice. We are Sporting Club Jacksonville. We are Sporting JAX.
Hello and welcome into the Sporting JAX Report. I'm Cole Pepper. Coming up, we'll meet a lot of the new signees to the USL Championship men's team, plus some of the new faces on the first place women's team as well. We'll also bring you a matchup of two of the top high school girls soccer teams in our area, and we'll bring you our first installment of our skills coaching from a Sporting JAX Pro. But let's start with the Sporting JAX women's team getting back to work in advance of the first half of the season. After a few weeks off for the holidays, the women have been back to work for the past week and a half, and they're working with some confidence that comes from sitting atop the table over the midseason break. While the team is pleased to be leading the league as an expansion club, they know there is more work to be done. Sporting JAX finished the first half tied for the most goals in the league and third in the league in passes. They are determined not to rest on their laurels, but instead look to take their game to the next level when the season resumes later this month.
Yeah, we've been practicing against some low blocks and stuff, just different things. But I think just getting back in the swing of things, obviously 2 to 3 weeks off, decompressing, just kind of getting our chemistry back in our flow. I feel like we go from being an expansion team that people know a lot about to people kind of knowing a lot about us. But I don't think a lot changes. I think we just keep doing us and just kind of keeping the blinders on a little bit.
You know, it's difficult when you've got so much time before the first game back. So we've got to make sure that we still continue to set targets, we keep standards in practice, we keep the tempo high, but we don't overdo it because it's really easy to try and peak too early before you get to the first game. So we have to make sure that we ease ourselves into it at times, but then we're obviously getting a lot accomplished out of what we're doing here.
Speaking of not standing pat, the team made 3 roster moves to strengthen the squad. Sporting JAX assigned wingback and defender Casey Smekrud, who was playing in the top division in Finland. She played 2 seasons in the USLW under Sporting JAX assistant Alan Kirkup when he was in Lexington. The team also signed defender Julia Lester to a contract. Lester had been on loan from Seattle Reign through the end of the calendar year, but now the former Gator is signed up for the rest of the season with Sporting JAX. She plays every minute for the team, at least so far. And Sporting JAX also added a goalkeeper. Former Florida State keeper Christina Roque joined the team on loan from Racing Louisville. The moves are a sign that Sporting JAX is focused on improving competition on the roster with an eye toward contending for a championship.
Building confidence, still getting comfortable. Obviously, I've been here since about mid-November on trial. So, just building confidence, getting to know the players around me, like Julia Lester, Bo, Soph in the middle, Paige up top. Yeah, just getting to know everyone.
I mean, this team makes it so easy to come into, and they're so welcoming, open arms staff. They reached out before I even got here, so they made me feel like I was at home before I even got here. So overall, just great people, great staff. Just makes it that much easier.
It's definitely exciting to get the deal done, conversations and everything like that. But I think with coming here and talking with Alan and then Stacy on the phone and what I was wanting for myself too, I did feel like I was getting that within the first, month of being here. So I'm excited to build on that and keep, moving forward with the team.
All right, let's now welcome in Becky Burley. Becky, what do these 3 moves tell you about Sporting JAX's intentions for the rest of the season?
No doubt. I mean, and it's beautiful because this team wants to win it. They don't want to just be here at the halfway point. They want to be there at the end. And so I think they're making moves to make that happen.
What do you think of the move to keep one of your former players, Julia Lester, around the rest of the way?
Man, I know I'm probably a little biased on this one, but I think Lester has just been such an integral part of the defense and just her ability to be such a great role model as a pro. Like, she knows what she's doing. She's been there. She has experience. So it's not just her play, it's like what she does in the locker room too. And one of the lowest maintenance, great players you're ever going to deal with.
Sporting JAX ended the first half of the season on such a roll, 4 wins and a draw in the last 5. How did they keep that momentum going?
You know, that's a good question because I bet you if Stacey had a choice, like maybe she would want that season to kind of continue a little bit because they were just on a roll. But I also do think that there's something about a break that gives you a chance to kind of audit your team, give the players a chance to get fresh again. And obviously, this is true for any team in the league. But I think in particular with the team here in Sporting JAX, like there's an opportunity there to grow as a group off the field. There's an opportunity for people to get healthy, take little nicks and bumps, which we knew like Ashlyn Puerto was one of those. She's a key piece. Give her like a little bit of an extended rest. So I think it's all good.
Well, now the Sporting JAX has become the hunted instead of the hunter. What kind of obstacles do they have to look out for the rest of the season?
I think what you just said, you know, like really not changing your mentality and staying in the process because they have been very process oriented to get to this point. So now, like to feel like you have to cling to first place or to hold on to it and do things that are out of character for you, that's not them. So if they are able to stay true to who they are, you know, Coach Balin gave us her values from the very beginning. They've acted out those values. I think the organization of Sporting JAX has talked about values a lot, and they have acted on those values. So I think continuing to do that while at the same time not being afraid to add pieces to improve.
Thanks, Becky. The first opportunity for Sporting JAX to show how they've improved and play as a first-place team comes on January 31st when Carolina Ascent comes to town. For tickets, call 904-863-KICK or go to sportingjax.com. As the women's team gets set to resume the season, the men's roster is coming together. In the past week, more than a dozen names have been added to the roster for the men. Here's a speed round for you to get to know the newest members on the Sporting JAX roster. Start with Jordan Rossiter, midfielder who made his pro debut with Liverpool. He's also played for Rangers, Bristol Rovers, and Waterford, as well as the England youth national team. Kieran Sadler was born in England but has represented the Republic of Ireland at the youth level. The 31-year-old has over 250 professional appearances and has scored 60 goals as a pro. Midfielder Rafferty Petter is another Englishman who had experience with Queen's Park Rangers and Oxford City, as well as Tottenham Hotspur Academy. He most recently played for Tacoma Defiance in MLS Next Pro. Tyshawn Rose is a defender from Connecticut who last played for Huntsville City in MLS Next Pro. Defender Ethan Dudley is a local player. The former Bartram Trail defender has experience in USL League One and MLS Next Pro. Another defender, Mohamed Traore, has USL Championship experience. He won the USL Championship final with Phoenix Rising and had a stint with LAFC in MLS. Canadian Adonijah Reed spent time with FC Dallas and Miami FC. The 26-year-old has also played in France as well as his home country north of the border. 24-year-old striker Emil Jaskalainen comes from a big Finnish soccer family. He had a taste of MLS action with St. Louis City. English midfielder Jacob Evans, rising through the ranks in the United States. The former UNC Wilmington star has experience in MLS Next Pro. 19-year-old forward Zeke Soto is a rising star. He has USL Championship experience with Charleston Battery. He made his pro debut at the age of 17 and has played for the U.S. youth national teams. 23-year-old midfielder Piero Elias is a New York native who came up through the NYCFC system. 27-year-old midfielder Juan Kuzan has played with Sporting KC in MLS as well as several MLS Next Pro and USL sides. And goalkeeper Christian Oliveras is on loan from St. Louis City. Overall, head coach Liam Fox is pleased with the influx of talent for the squad's inaugural season.
Yep, been a lot of movement over the last sort of probably a culmination of probably about 2 months worth of work, and also since I came in. But Mark and the rest of the guys and the rest of the ownership have probably been at this for a good period of time now. But so it's great to actually finally get some guys across the line. We're really happy with the group that we've put together. We hope it's going to reflect what we want to be as an organisation and as a club, and hopefully it respects how I would like the team to function and how I want the team to look. Aggressive, good energy, and be totally committed to Jacksonville.
Let's now welcome in Mauricio Ruiz. Mal, what are your thoughts about the first stage of the roster build for the team?
Well, they're kind of taking a page out of how we built the women's roster as well, right? There's a bit of a balance to it, and just starting off with focusing on the local talent. So you got players like Ethan Dudley, that's a Jacksonville native player that's kind of grown up in the system here, had a really good college career, and still young in his professional endeavors. So just focusing on trying to get some local blood, and then you got Luke Granitor from UNF, great career, college career, even though he's from South Florida, but had his college career here. So we claim him as one of our own. So I just love that concept that we're focusing on our local talent. That's just sending a really good message, Cole, to other local players, whether they're youth or college players, that there will be an opportunity within Sporting JAX. And then you start looking at the kind of the what I call the meat of the roster, like players that have USL Championship or League One or even MLS Next Pro, kind of that second, third division US domestic based leagues. We started kind of growing a lot of them, like players like Edgar Ritor and Mohamed Traore, Armstrong. They're players that know the American domestic system. They can kind of plug and play in right away. They know the league. They've had some success in the league, but they're still quite young, so they still have a lot to prove. And then you start kind of looking into like, okay, who are the players that we don't know? Who are these international players? And I think that's kind of where the key for Mark and for Liam and how they're going to build really strength into the roster, some of the international players that aren't introduced to the league yet. If you talk to Mark, one thing that he pins on is that we can't just keep doing what everyone else is doing, otherwise we'll be like everybody else. So using and leveraging some of the relationships overseas to get players like Rafferty and Kieran, young players that still have a lot to offer, but will bring some kind of seniority to the roster at the same time because of the environments that they've been on, whether it's at Tottenham or playing internationally. I think we're going to have some really key, what I would call mature players with international experience. They're going to add a lot to this roster, kind of meddle in with a lot of players that know the domestic market that can kind of, once again, kind of get on the ground running right away.
Mal, thanks. Stick around. More to come from you in just a bit. Season tickets for the men's inaugural season in the USL Championship are on sale now. With more than 4,000 seats priced at $20 or less per match, it's a great value for professional soccer. Season ticket benefits include discounts on Sporting JAX merchandise, an interest-free payment plan, and our ticket exchange, so you can get value for games you can't attend. For season tickets, call 904-863-KICK or go to sportingjax.com. Sporting JAX has also introduced the Family Pack. This is a great way for families to enjoy pro soccer. You can get tickets to a Gainbridge Super League match to watch the women, match ticket, meal voucher for dinner and a drink. For each member of the family, up to 8, you can even substitute beer for mom and dad. Get your Family Pack today. Go to sportingjax.com. Still ahead, how one Sporting JAX defender uses timing and technique to win in the air. That's next as the Sporting JAX Report rolls on. Every game of the Gainbridge Super League can be seen streaming on Peacock. Home games can be seen on Channel 4, CW17, or right here on the stations of First Coast News. And we now welcome in Emerson Burris, our Ascension St. Vincent's player feature. Usually we're looking at the background of a player. Now we're turning the page and looking at the skills from some of these players, getting some pointers from the pros. So who are we starting with?
Well, taking on a ball in the air takes more than just height. It takes technique, timing, and fearlessness, which I think I have a little bit of. But this week, Sporting JAX defender Zara Siassi breaks down the art of the header and shows us how she dominates above the rest.
We've been told Zara Siassi has the best header. Zara, tell us what goes into a header.
So I would say that heading the ball is definitely something that requires a lot of bravery and courage to do. You can't be afraid to put your body on the line. That's the mentality piece. And then physically, making contact with the right surface. So using like your forehead area, not making sure that you're not hitting the ball with the top of your head. That will probably hurt. So really making contact with the ball with your head, and then the direction and the height of your header is also important depending on if you want to clear the ball or score a goal.
As a defender, how does the header really play into your game specifically?
I think aerial duels are an important part of being a defender. So if there's a 50-50 ball, if you have your eye on the person that you're going up against, that's not gonna do you much good. So having your eye on the ball is important.
Well, I'm definitely a visual learner. Let's do some examples.
Okay, so this will be an example of a way that you can train headers after training with teammates or parents or your coach. I'm gonna have my body sideways on towards the camera, and then I'm gonna be in an athletic stance, and then Emerson's gonna toss the ball. Then we can switch sides. Beautiful. So that is a way that you can practice headers.
Well, Zara, we will be looking out for your headers going into the rest of the season. Thanks so much for showing us a new skill.
Thanks.
Whether it's clearing danger or creating chances, Zara says confidence in the air can change the momentum of a match. And there's a closer look at one of the most physical and impactful skills in soccer.
That's great work. By the way, just a little behind the scenes, we didn't really give Zara much time to prepare, but she did a great job. Clearly, you can see she spent some time coaching the game, teaching the game in her past for sure. Emerson, thanks so much. Flex packs for the second half of the women's season are on sale now. You can customize your season to fit your schedule. You'll still save over individual match tickets. It's a great way for busy families. Just choose any 4 matches and you'll be set. It's the Flex Pack from Sporting JAX. Call 904-863-KICK or visit sportingjax.com. Major matchup in local high school soccer. That's next as the Sporting JAX report rolls on. The inaugural Sporting JAX kit and all kinds of Sporting JAX gear are available to you. Use the QR code on your screen to order your official Sporting JAX shirt and more. Or go to sportingjax.com/shop to show your team pride today. Time now for the Youth Soccer Spotlight presented by the Bearded Pig Barbecue. Emerson Burris right back here with us. Emerson, this week you headed out to a local high school game.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite things is covering youth sports, and I got to go back to my high school days when I played high school soccer and see Tom Brake Ponte Vedra stay undefeated with a 3-1 victory over rival Bartram Trail. Goals from Lily Moore and Katie DeVicentes helped lead the charge for the Sharks. Layla Davis scored the lone goal for Bartram Trail. In a rivalry match featuring 2 of the area's top programs, it was a great night of girls high school soccer.
Yeah, I think we came out strong. You know, last time it was a 2-1 game, 3-1, you know, statistically that's better. So, yeah, I think it was good. Good fight.
I think it's a testament of how we can fight back, especially from being tied 1-1 in both games at half. It shows I think our team dynamic is great and how we just come back stronger every time. We're a really talented group, and I think us being number 1, I mean, it's great, but it doesn't mean anything compared to every time we come out on the field, we have to act like we're not. We have to actually perform. So a really talented group, but we work even harder, which is just, I think that shows.
Yeah, win states, obviously.
Yes.
Get a 3-peat.
I mean, stay home and try to dominate.
Yeah, keep shutouts as well. Defense is our rock. So
it's great. I mean, I've known the coach forever. We're great friends. So it's a great rivalry, but it's a one of respect. We respect them, they respect us, and probably the last 10 years is probably pretty close to even those games back and forth. Just to try to keep improving and stay healthy and just try to battle every single game like it's your last. And now it is your last. So you know we don't have to pretend it's our last. It is.
Such a fun night and a very high-level matchup highlighting the talent and competitiveness of girls high school soccer in our area.
2 great programs, 2 great coaches as well. You heard from Dave Silverberg there. Those are always great matchups. Glad you could take that one in.
Absolutely. It was so much fun seeing the girls interact with one another. I know a lot of them play on the same club team, so it was an awesome night.
All right. Thank you, Emerson. For more on Sporting JAX in the world of soccer, join me every Tuesday night at 6 on 1010XL. I'm joined by the likes of Mark Warburton, Stacey Balaam, Liam Fox, and Sporting JAX players every Tuesday night at 6 on 1010XL, the Coaches Show, presented by Sporting JAX. You can listen on air on 1010 AM, online or on demand at 1010XL.com. And for behind-the-scenes conversation about Sporting JAX, join Mauricio Ruiz, Emerson Burris, Tony Allegretti, and me on the Sporting Pod. A new episode drops each and every week. Still to come, Mauricio rejoins me to size up the drama from the FA Cup. That's next, right here on the Sporting JAX Report. You can watch the Sporting JAX Report every weekend on the stations of First Coast News. Next week, we air at 12:30 on Saturday on NBC 12, right before Premier League action. Remember, you can also find us on demand on First Coast News Plus and the Sporting JAX YouTube channel. We now welcome back Mauricio Ruiz. Now, in England, the FA Cup has a tradition of providing memorable moments with big upsets. But this past weekend, Boy, an enormous upset as we saw a 6th division team take down the cup holders Crystal Palace. Just amazing.
Well, that's why we made such a big deal about the U.S. Open Cup here in the U.S. a few years ago, because we'd be missing some of these stories if the MLS kind of moves away from it. You know, even though U.S. Open Cup is not as big as FA Cup, these are the stories that we want to hear about. You know, the underdog, the little club, the little amateur clubs. You mentioned before off the air, some of the players went back to work the next day, right? I mean, those are the things when you kind of talking about 5th, 6th division, pub league teams, adult league teams, having a chance to play against these giants of football, or even just a lower division team upsetting a higher division team. These are the stories that really make football, you know, as good as it is, because they're small margin games. And it's not like basketball or some of the other games that you can kind of really run up the score. If you can score early, Cole, and if you're a small size team and you can score early and play some really good solid defense, and you just catch the other team on a bad day, anything can happen. And I think those are the stories that we love hearing about in football, and the FA Cup is the best evidence of that.
And no doubt about it, always fun to see the little guy succeed. We'll see if the first place team can succeed when Sporting JAX resumes the Gainbridge Super League season with a home match against Carolina Ascent on January 31st. It's the first test for the team since rising to the top of the table, and a great test against last year's Players' Shield winners. Be sure to follow us for everything that's going on with Sporting JAX on our social media channels. We're on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok at Sporting_JAX. And since we're now into 2026, we'll be keeping an eye on the start of the World Cup. Just 147 days until the eyes of the world turn to the biggest sporting event on the globe here in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And we're just weeks away from seeing more Sporting JAX action on the pitch for the women, and then the men. We'll be following all of it right here on the Sporting JAX Report. Thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you next week, everybody.